In our next tutorial of GIMP, we'll go over some of the color tools that you'll use on your images to change various parts of your image. Much like Photoshop, these are some of the main tools you will use to switch color balance, brightness and contrast, curves, and more. So to start off, we'll go to the Colors section, Color Balance. This is probably the main tool many people use to change the actual color in the image to something that they think is much more appropriate for the image in general. And as you can see, we can change these values to increase more of the color that we want to add to the image or subtract the color. And we can change the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights of the image. The next tool is Huesaturation, which allows us to change overall the hue colors that are added to our image. So we can make it a green or a pink or what have you. We can change the lightness of the image, how much extra light is in the image, or if there's more shadows. And we can add more saturation of color to the image or make it more toward grayscale. With the Colorize option, we can do this in a more direct way, where it adds the color directly over all of the image. And of course, you can do this with the saturation and the lightness as well. With the brightness contrast, we can change the brightness to be less on the image, the contrast to be more, and vice versa. With the threshold, we can change what the image sees in terms of darkness or light. And for this, I would recommend using a layer mask so you can have something to blend over the image itself instead of leaving this as its own layer. With levels, we can go in and change the gamma on the image, so we can reduce the gamma, make it darker, or add more gamma to make it lighter. With the curves, this is much like Photoshop, where you have a histogram, and you can set the points on the curves to drag down the shadows, increase the highlights, and change the way the image looks on a very granular basis. If you go to Posterize, it creates an image that reduces its colors into various channels of colors. You don't see many colors if you go lower on the Posterize levels. That looks like it was created in older graphics editors. If you go to Desaturate, we've been using this in a lot of our previous tutorials where we can desaturate by removing the colors from the image, and we can choose based on the luminosity, the average, or the lightness in the image. And that is just a quick overview of all the different color tools you could use in GIMP.